Hi, I'm Erik Christensen from the NLS Norway Relocation Group, and I want to welcome you to this strategic briefing designed for HR directors and global mobility leaders. Today we must address one of the most legally perilous and culturally jarring transitions a foreign executive will face when arriving in the 2026 Norwegian corporate market. We are talking about the Termination Trap and the profound culture shock associated with the Norwegian Working Environment Act, or in Norwegian Arbeidsmiljøloven. When a multinational corporation relocates a highly aggressive, results-oriented senior manager from an at-will employment market like the United States or a lightly regulated market like the UK or Singapore to an office in Oslo or Stavanger, they are essentially dropping them onto a foreign legal planet. In their home countries, these executives have built their careers on the ability to rapidly restructure teams, aggressively manage out underperformance, and utilize the threat of immediate termination to drive quarterly KPIs. However, I'm here to warn you that if your newly relocated foreign executive attempt to apply this hire and fire playbook to a Norwegian workforce, they will not only destroy team morale, but they will actively trigger catastrophic legal and financial liabilities for your company. To understand this trap, we must first look at the bedrock of Norwegian corporate culture. That is the absolute protection of the worker. In Norwegian, the Arbeidsmiljøloven is not just a set of guidelines. It is a fiercely defended, almost sacred societal pact. The first area where foreign managers particularly fail is their fundamental misunderstanding of the prøvetid, or probationary period. In many global hubs, a 6-month probationary period is viewed as a free trial. If an employee isn't a perfect fit by month 5, the manager simply lets them go with zero friction. In Norway, this is a dangerous illusion. While the threshold for dismissal is slightly lower during the prøvetid, the burden of proof still rests entirely on the employer, and it is forensically high. A foreign manager cannot simply fire a Norwegian employee because they are not a culture fit or lacking drive. To legally terminate someone during probation, the manager must provide exhaustive written documentation proving that the employee was given crystal clear expectations, continuous feedback, adequate resources, and targeted training, and still fail to meet the technical requirements of the role. If your foreign executive skips this exhaustive coaching phase and moves straight to termination, the employee will easily win an unfair dismissal case, resulting in massive severance payouts and severe reputational damage to your firm. Secondly, we must address what we call Norwegian Sykemelding Shield and the sick leave shield, and the realities of performance management in a high trust society. When a foreign manager, unaccustomed to the nuances of Norwegian communication, applies intense, high-pressure performance management tactics to a local employee, it is frequently perceived as workplace harassment. In Norway, employees have the right to a psychologically safe working environment. If an employee feels bullied or aggressively micromanaged by the new expat boss, they will simply go to their fastlege, general practitioner, and receive a sykemelding, Norwegian, or sick leave for stress. This is where the foreign manager hits a brick wall. Under Norwegian law, an employee is generally protected from termination due to illness for up to 12 months. The aggressive foreign manager has not managed out the underperformer. They have effectively frozen the employee on the payroll for a year while entirely losing their labor output. Furthermore, the manager must now engage in extensive, legally mandated follow-up meetings with a sick employee. The NAV, or Welfare Administration in Norway, and the company doctor to facilitate their return to work. The executive's time is completely consumed by administrative rehabilitation rather than corporate strategy. Thirdly, the foreign executive is often completely blind to the Norwegian systems of what we call medbestemmelse, or co-determination. If an American or British manager decides to unilaterally restructure the department in Oslo to optimize efficiency, they will immediately run afoul of the law. Major changes cannot be dictated from the top down. They must involve a formal, what we call drøftelsesmøte, or discussion meetings with the employees, the tillitsvalgt, or union representative, and the verneombud, safety representative. Bypassing these stakeholders is a severe breach of trust and law, often resulting in immediate union intervention, media leaks, and an entirely paralyzed department. The underlying tragedy is that the foreign executive is simply trying to do the job they were hired to do, using the tools that made them successful globally. But without deep, localized legal and cultural translation, their standard management toolkit is entirely illegal in Norway. At NLS Norway Relocation Group, we insist that corporate mobility goes far beyond finding a house and securing a visa. We provide mandatory leadership legal localization training for all incoming foreign executives. We bridge the gap between global management styles and the strict parameters of the Arbeidsmiljøloven. We teach your leaders how to drive performance to the Norwegian model of what we call forankring, or consensus, and psychological safety, how to correctly document probationary periods, and how to navigate the complex web of union representatives and sick leave regulations without triggering a crisis. If you are relocating a senior manager to Norway, do not let them step onto a legal landmine. You must equip them with a localized leadership strategy. Please visit our website at NLS Norway Relocation.no, NLS Norway Relocation.no, to learn how our corporate coaching solutions can protect your global talent from the termination trap and ensure your company remains legally compliant and highly productive in the Norwegian market.